Hi, everybody. How are you today? So, last night was our online evening prayer group. Among other things, we read together 1 John 3, verses 1 through 3. And we read it from the Message. I'm going to read that to you now, because then I want to talk about that a bit. What marvelous love the Father, Mother, God has extended to us. Just look at it. We are called the children of God. That's who we really are. But that's also why the world doesn't recognize us or take us seriously, because it has no idea who God is or what God is up to. But friends, that's exactly who we are. Children of God. And that's only the beginning. Who knows how we'll end up? What we know is that when Christ is openly revealed, we will see him. And in seeing him, become like him. All of us who look forward to his coming stay ready with the glistening purity of Jesus' life as a model for our own. May God help us to understand this reading, maybe hear it with new ears. So we were talking about how we are children of God, children of the light. And we got in this discussion about kind of what comforts you. Is there a comforting message in this? And pretty much everybody said yes, that we're children of God. Ergo, we don't need to be afraid. We can be ourselves and not worry. But it also came out in the conversation that most people in the group are afraid to trust feelings of comfort right now, because everything has been coming at us so fast. I mean, I have to tell you, this morning I was watching a news show, and they recapped what had happened just in the last week, just in the last 7 days. And it was overwhelming. It was like the events in a normal year in my lifetime that might have been spread across certainly weeks, if not months. And there it is, crammed into 7 days. And it has been like that now for a few years. And so we started talking about that in our prayer group and decided that it's very hard right now to trust, sometimes, not all the time, but to trust that things are going to get better, or to let down our guard enough to trust the comfort. Do you feel that way? When you find something that feels good or is comforting, soothing, do you find it hard to trust that? Or even just to let it in? That's one of our discussion points last night. I just can't even let it in, a person said. And then we looked back in our time machine to a year ago, and how so many of us received comfort by hugging. By hugging. And we can't do that now. That's impossible. So the comfort that we find in relationships, well, that comfort is reduced to screens. And what are we going to do with that? How do we get around that? How will we come back from that? Well, I happen to think that when we are able to return to some sense of normalcy, that it will automatically return. The residue, I think, will be there, but it will dissipate. But in the meantime, it's the comfort that we find in relationships that we need to build upon. It helps when we're in a group that worships together, whether all at the same time and place, or we know that people are worshiping with us, like with our YouTube worship. It helps during Zoom meetings when we can see each other and hear each other and laugh with each other. In our own way, that becomes a comfort, even though the screen separates us and even though the screen makes us tired. Do you notice if you're in Zoom? Boy, it's like your mind gets tired and your body is tired and your eyes certainly get tired. But we must never let go of our willingness to hope, to open up and trust that what's coming to us is authentic. Sorry for that interruption. The Staples delivery person had delivered the wrong box and needed to exchange it. This idea of trusting each other is tough. It's not that we don't trust each other, it's that we don't trust the world right now. We don't trust our environment. We don't trust that good things can come to us because the hard to deal with things, I don't want to call them bad things, but the challenges are just heaping on us at a rapid pace. So I'm going to make a suggestion. Maybe we should just try to, first, slow our world down. I go back to that prayerful pause I did about a week ago, maybe, that was about resetting our set point. To breathe in slowly and then out slowly, to reset our set point. And that will reset the world around us a little. And we don't have to take in all this ambient junk that's coming at us. But mostly, bring your head and heart together. The heart knows who to trust and when to trust. And right now, too many of us are operating out of our head to keep ourselves safe. Frankly, if you are in your home and you are washing your hands and you are wearing masks when you go out and you're not going out for anything extra, and you are with and able to talk with other people who are doing the same thing, do your own contact tracing. See who the other person you're with is in contact with. I did that with, so we have this pod, a group that is together frequently. And one of the members of my pod last night came and brought some things over to my house that I had left at her house. And while she was not wearing a mask, and neither was I, and we started talking about this, and I said, you don't go out much anymore, do you? It's like we check in with each other all the time. And she said, no, when I walk with so-and-so, we're walking parallel and we're apart, but we're unmasked. She said, but we're not in front of each other at all. And I was fine with that. And then she said, but now that I think of it, she said, my daughter, who's in high school, is not as cautious as I, and she is in the house with me. She said, I might be putting you or anyone at risk because of that. And so immediately, she masked up and we talked about it. She said, you'll disinfect when I leave? I said, yes. And she walked out. Unnerving? Not really. Not really. Because I know that other than those exposures, she's in her house all the time. My other friend who's part of this pod, she's totally in her home. Goes out only if she has to. Pick up groceries, go to the doctor. So I don't feel an urgent sense of fear here. And so I can reset my set point every day, and so can you. If we are careful, if we are cautious, if we are smart. And then we don't have to worry so much about all the stuff that's out there and all the existential threats that are out there. We can dare to trust the comfort that God sends us. And the greatest comfort of all is that we are children of the living God. What else comforts you? You might want to make a list. And okay, so there can't be hugs right now, maybe. Wrap yourself up in a blanket. Get yourself one of those big pillows that you sleep next to. Figure out how to make this work so that you can feel comfort. Comfort ye, my people, saith the Lord. All right. Thank you for joining me for this prayerful pause with the pastor. I'm Pastor Deb Swift of South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. We carve out this time, Monday through Friday, to think of something greater than ourselves. I think today we should all be figuring out how to trust the comfort. Okay? All right, everybody. See you next time. God bless. Take care. Bye for now.